Imagine a game where the hoop wasn't a modern. Basketball wasn't always the fast-paced, gravity-defying spectacle it is today. It started as a humble game in a YMCA gym back in 1891, a far cry from today's multi-billion-dollar NBA. But how did it get here? What were the early days like? Let's dive deep into the history, exploring every era and game-changing moment that took the NBA from its grassroots to global domination. In 1891, Dr. James Naismith was tasked with creating a new indoor sport. What did he come up with? A soccer ball and 2 peach baskets nailed to the walls of a YMCA gym in Springfield, Massachusetts. Simple, but it was the birth of basketball. Fast forward to June 6, 1946, when the first professional NBA game was played at the Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens. The New York Knicks faced off against the Toronto Huskies. Can you imagine? Back then, a ticket was free if you were taller than the Huskies center, 6'8" George Nostrand. The Knicks won that game 6-8, but little did anyone know how monumental that first tip-off would become. In these early days, the league was far from the well-oiled machine we know. Travel was exhausting, attendance was low, and games were primarily focused around big men like George Mikan, the league's first dominant center. Yet this was the foundation, the moment the spark of something greater was ignited. Basketball evolved into a bigger spectacle in the 1950s and 60s as towering giants like Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell began to dominate the league. These two icons redefined how the game was played, and their rivalry became the stuff of legends. Wilt, famously scoring 100 points in a single game, was an unstoppable force, while Russell's Celtics won 11 championships in 13 years, a record still untouched. This era laid the blueprint for the NBA's future. But despite these stars, the NBA struggled with public visibility. Games were often broadcast late at night on tape delay. The league's breakthrough in terms of popularity was still on the horizon. Everything changed when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird entered the league. Their rivalry, first during their college years and later between the Lakers and Celtics, became one of the most exciting narratives in all of sports. Bird's no-nonsense, hard-working demeanor clashed perfectly with Magic's showmanship, and the world couldn't look away. Their fierce battles in the NBA Finals in the 80s revived the league. Suddenly, basketball was no longer a fringe sport, it was primetime entertainment. Magic's Showtime Lakers brought flair to the game, while Bird's Celtics reminded people of the grit and grind required to win. Television networks started airing NBA games live, and the league's marketing strategy shifted towards showcasing individual players, not just teams. The NBA's rise in popularity had begun, but it wasn't until a man named Michael Jordan entered the scene that the league truly exploded into global prominence. In the 1990s, basketball entered its most transformative era, driven by one man, Michael Jordan. Jordan wasn't just a great player, he became a global icon. His Air Jordan sneakers, highlight reel plays, and 6 NBA championships with the Chicago Bulls made him a household name in every corner of the world. Jordan wasn't just a sports star, he was a cultural phenomenon. Brands like Nike and Gatorade built marketing empires around him, and the NBA capitalized on his influence to push basketball into new markets across Europe, Asia, and beyond. The Dream Team. The 1992 Olympic basketball team featuring Jordan, Magic, Bird, and other superstars further solidified the NBA's global appeal. Basketball was no longer just an American game. It was a global movement. With Jordan's retirement the second time, the NBA faced a new challenge: how to fill the void left by the greatest player of all time. If you thought the game was fast in the 2000s, the 2010s took things to a new level. Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors revolutionized the way basketball was played, turning the three-point shot into the league's most dangerous weapon. Curry's ability to shoot from anywhere on the court transformed the game, forcing teams to adapt or be left behind. Super teams became the norm, with LeBron James forming the Miami Heat's Big Three alongside Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh, then later returning to Cleveland to win a historic title. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors assembled their own super team, dominating the league and winning 3 championships in 4 years. International stars began to truly shine. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, and Nikola Jokic are proof that the NBA's future is global. These players are just as loved in Greece, Slovenia, and Serbia as they are in the US, and they're changing the way the game is played. The future of the NBA feels limitless. The league continues to push boundaries, from the rise of positionless basketball to the growing presence of international players. The NBA has become a reflection of the diverse and fast-paced world we live in. As technology evolves, so does the fan experience. From virtual courtside seats to players engaging directly with fans on social media, the NBA has become more than just a game. It's an experience, a movement, a global spectacle that unites people from all walks of life. So, what's next for the NBA? One thing's for sure, as the league grows, it will continue to captivate us with stories of new legends, unforgettable moments, and the constant evolution of the game we love. Subscribe.